US Bank recently announced major changes to their Altitude Reserve card. This card was once the darling of the credit card community before US Bank closed it to applications back in November of 2024. People signed up for the card prior to that date, including myself, have been able to continue to enjoy the benefits of the card even with it being closed to new applications. That's all about to change. Just a few days ago on August 1st, US Bank confirmed that rumors surrounding a potential nerf to the card's benefits were in fact true. By the way, this is just another example of credit card rumors being extremely accurate. The same pattern was followed by the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the Citi Strata Elite, where the rumored details about these cards were all confirmed to be true upon release. Whether these leaks are from disgruntled employees looking to get back at their employers, or the banks themselves are intentionally leaking details to gauge feedback to their announcements prior to the fact, is a discussion for another day, but I digress. In today's video, we're going to go over the current benefits of the US Bank Altitude Reserve. We'll go over all the details of the upcoming changes, and at the end, I'm going to show you why these changes may actually be a good thing, contrary to the opinion of other credit card YouTubers and online commenters who seem to think this is the end of the world, doom and gloom, this card is terrible now. I'm going to explain why that may not be the case. But before we jump in, I want to thank you for the continued support. Each week I come on here and talk about how I can't believe how well these videos are doing and how many subscribers I continue to gain. I truly appreciate it. It really keeps me motivated to continue creating content. Without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, so here is the official email that I received from US Bank 2 days ago on August 1st, detailing all the changes coming to the Altitude Reserve. So really quickly before we jump into what's changing, I'm going to tell you what makes this card special, why people care about it so much, very, very high level. So what this card does is it gives you, among other benefits, I'm just going to touch on what makes this card great, is that it gives you 3x on all mobile wallet purchases. That's Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay. It doesn't matter what category that purchase is. You could be getting a haircut, which I obviously don't do. You could be going out to eat. You could be getting your car repaired. You could be anywhere that accepts Apple Pay, you get 3x on it. So the standard across the board typically is 2x back on all purchases. So the Citi Double Cash, so that's Citi's version of an everywhere card, gives you 2x everywhere, Capital One, Venture and Venture X, 2x miles back on everything. Chase only gives you 1.5 back on their Chase Freedom Unlimited. So there's the Wells Fargo Active Cash that gives you 2% back on all purchases. You get the point across the board. 2%, in Chase's case, it's 1.5, is the standard. This Altitude Reserve gets you 3x on all mobile wallet purchases. So that right there dwarfs, the other 2x and 1. It doubles the Chase Freedom Unlimited, and it's higher than the 2% cards everywhere. I think what is different about this card, it was released back in, I believe, 2017, back when mobile wallet wasn't as, I guess, ubiquitous or widely accepted. That's not the case any longer. It is 8 years down the line, and Apple Pay is really accepted almost everywhere. Even if you go and purchase things online, not even at the store where you're tapping to pay at the point of sale, but even if you're at your house and you're shopping online and you come across a website and you're filling out your information, getting ready to put in your card, there typically is an Apple Pay button where you can click. And I can confirm, if you've got a MacBook and you're shopping through Safari, that those purchases, even if you're not at the register tapping to pay in person in those Apple Pay transactions online, they do code as 3x. So you can see here pretty much, I would say like 95% of the purchases that I make in that other non-bonus spend category are able to be put on this US Bank Altitude Reserve at a 3x multiplier. So that is extremely unique, and it's a really great boost. And then on top of that, there is a feature on this called real-time rewards, where you're able to take the points that you earn at that 3x multiplier on the Altitude Reserve, and then you're able to redeem them for travel at a 1.5 cent per point valuation, effectively getting you 4.5% cash back on all of these purchases. So that is a very, very high level. There's more details, and the annual fee, is offset by a very easily offset thing in here. We're going to get into more of the details as I go through this list and talk about what was and what is, but that's a very high level of why people are like talking about this. There's, Stan the Credit Frog has been a huge proponent of this, and Dugra's reports have talked about it, and there's been many, many videos, and there's a lot of buzz surrounding this card. That's the high level explanation of why you can get, essentially 4.5x back on all most of your purchases, including Costco, by the way, because it is a Visa. Costco accepts tap to pay, and it dwarfs the percent cash back that the Costco card itself gets you at 2%, and you're getting 4.5. So anyways, rant over. We're going to go down and talk about this email, but I just wanted to kind of give a baseline of why people are so obsessed with it. So you'll see here important changes coming to your U.S. Bank Altitude Reserve Visa Infinite card effective December 15th, 2025. So first thing that jumps out on the screen is that they've given us a decent amount of notice here. It is at the beginning of August, so we've got a few months to prepare for this. So, that is one thing we'll applaud US Bank for, and they're not just, on December 14th telling us about these changes. We always appreciate the heads up that these credit card companies and loyalty programs don't always give. So that is nice to see. So we've got some time. All right. Your card will give you even more great benefits. So even if, no matter what, this is just something that the credit card companies will always do, no matter what, even if the card is worse than before, they will always tell you, there's more benefits, there's more credits, there's more, they're always going to spin it that way. So that's, not surprising here. Richer earning for travel bookings through the U.S. Bank Travel Center. So earn 10x points on hotel rooms and car rentals, and 5x points on flights booked directly through the travel center. That's par for the course. All these major banks are wanting you to book through their travel center, travel portal, Capital One travel portal, Chase, the Chase travel portal. The Citi Strata Elite recently got announced with a big $300 credit through their Citi travel portal. So all these banks, they really want you to shop and stay within the family. I mentioned it on a recent video that I did that, an overlooked reason why they all want you to stay within the travel portal is not just because they're getting great rates and commissions back on the hotels that they're, booking their customers through and getting better rates and more favorable for the bottom line, but also it's the data collection. I have a strong speculation that they're collecting all this data on the purchases, and if it stays within their own ecosystem, it's much easier to track, record, and make sense of the data. And then with the rise of AI, they're able to, make better inferences from that data. They're able to, market to potential partners and say, look, we've got all the spending habits of this customer. We've got more fine-tuned data. This is the perfect target audience, the perfect customer for your product. Pay us in order to be able to, market to these customers. And then they could, provide coupons like, for example, Chase is able to provide that StubHub coupon. And I bet StubHub is heavily subsidizing that coupon because of data that Chase is able to provide them, and more firmly predict that they're going to be able to, increase sales through having that partnership with Chase. It allows Chase to offer benefits at a lower cost to their bottom line while charging the consumer and telling the consumer that those credits are of a greater value, and it's a win-win for the banks. And that's just my long tangent on why they're pushing us through the portal. So I just wanted to mention that here. So, but I'm not going to give any credit to US Bank for giving the 10x. That's par for the course. Not going to touch on that. Transfer points to other loyalty programs. So this is a big deal. US Bank does not currently offer any transfer partners. You can only, although that 1.5 cent per point valuation on your points and rewards through US Bank is very solid, and it's nice to be able to guarantee that you're not able to really get that outsized value that you sometimes can by transferring to other hotel and airline loyalty programs. So very interested to see what these programs are. We do not have any details at this time of what they're going to be, who they are, how many, if the rates are going to be 1-to-1. We have no information on that at all. This is really the kind of the main driver of if the new iteration of this card is going to be good or not. Really heavily, in my opinion, relies on these transfer partners and what they are and what the rates are. So my speculation would be that they're somewhere along the lines of the Wells Fargo transfer partners, which are not the greatest. We have seen lots and lots of changes to US Bank's programs recently, starting with the Smartly disaster, where they thought it would be a good idea somehow to offer 4% effective rewards back on every single purchase via that Smartly card. That was a disastrous release, and they lost a ton of money and quickly walked that back. And I feel like these changes to the Altitude Reserve were kind of initiated by that failure. They're looking at all the programs and ways to kind of reel it back in and get more money because of that disaster. So because of that recent track record of, them trying to reel back in every single inch of value because they've had really bad release with that recent card, gives me low level of hope that there will be good transfer partners coming out of this, but there is potential. So we'll wait and see. Hopefully we get that information sooner than later. But I wouldn't be surprised if they announce that on December 15th when these changes go into effect. So more to come there. This really, really hinges on those transfer partners. If there are solid transfer partners, good transfer ratios, this could still be a solid card, but we'll continue to talk and go through the details and kind of wrap it up more at the end here. So next point is redeem points for charity and get 100% match. Nice, but I'm not really interested in that benefit. Amazon Fresh for shop with points. I would speculate that there's a good chance that it's not at a favorable rate to the consumer. I believe American Express gives you a 60% valuation on your points when you shop with points. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're at a similar rate here. So that is obviously awful. Discover new and improved cashback deals. So every credit card company, Capital One and Chase, they've all got these offers that Amex offers you can add to your cards and get better deals. They've already got that here. If there are better rates, sure. I don't have a high hope for this new benefit as well. And then discount on purchased gift cards. Receive discounts of up to 5% on dozens of name brand gift cards. That's terrible. I'm not going to be using that. Don't care about it at all. I'm going to scroll right by it. It's not interesting. Here is the list of the major changes. So updated rewards, earning 3x on mobile wallet spend on Apple Pay, Google Wallet, and Samsung Pay on your first 5,000 each billing cycle. So currently we do get the 3x on unlimited. There is no cap. Now they're putting a cap on it of 5,000 per billing cycle. That really doesn't affect me. I don't spend anywhere near 5,000 each billing cycle on this card in those 3x categories, so that doesn't affect me. I understand why they're putting a cap on it there, and I'm on it. My honest thoughts on this is that I'm grateful that it's even staying at 3x at all. So I would have thought this would be nerfed down to 2 or 2.5, or this card would be killed altogether before they kept it at 3x and put a cap on it. Generous cap, in my opinion. So the fact that we're able to still get 3x on mobile wallet spend, like I was saying at the beginning of the video, you can essentially, at least where I live, mobile wallet is so prevalent, especially if you use Apple Pay and you're able to even enhance that with your online shopping. It is such a huge benefit that I'm happy it's sticking around. This is essentially, in my mind, a 3x everywhere card in a lot of ways. So that's a huge plus that it's staying around at all, in my opinion. You'll continue to earn 3x on travel, no cap, so that's good. So something I didn't mention at the beginning, that this card, in addition to the 3x on mobile wallet spend, it earns 3x on travel. So that is good that that's staying uncapped. You'll continue to receive TSA PreCheck or global entry, and then airport lounge access, no foreign transaction fees. So what kind of makes this card stand out for its priority pass that it currently has is that the 8 priority pass visits that you're allowed with this version of Priority Pass include restaurants. So that's a very rare benefit these days. All of the banks are removing that restaurant access from their Priority Pass benefits. So that's a very unique thing that US Bank has, and very, very happy to see that stay. So that is good news. Here's the big one, the big negative. One of the big negatives here. $325 annual credit for travel booked through the travel center. So receive up to $325 annually in credits for travel purchased through the travel center when you use this card. The current $325 annual credit for travel and dining purchases will be discontinued on December 14th, 2025. So this card has a $400 annual fee that is not changing. Currently, what they mean by that $325 credit for travel and dining will be discontinued is that the current iteration of this credit is that you spend on general travel. It doesn't have to be within the portal. You spend on any dining purchase, and those credits up to $325 annually. You just receive statement credits. Very, very easy. So That $400 annual fee is often kind of cited as a $75 effective annual fee because of the ease of use of those credits. Seriously, easiest thing ever. You can go to any restaurant ever and just tap to pay, earn 3x, spend $325 on one dinner if you wanted to, and it's just automatic statement credit. Nothing you have to do, no calling in, no kind of restrictions. It's just super, super easy. So in my opinion, as it currently stands now, before these changes, this card has kind of a net annual fee of $75. That is no longer the case. This is a huge bummer for this card, but not a surprise in any event that it's going to go to the travel center. So everybody wants you to go back into the portal for the reasons I was stating earlier in the video. Makes sense. Don't love it, but this is a change you could see far away. That credit was so generous before that is not surprising to me whatsoever that we are getting that nerfed and having to spend through the portal. That's a big deal. Next up here, the redemption changes. This is another huge deal. Currently, like I explained, real-time rewards, you get that 1.5 cent per point valuation on your points and rewards redeemed for travel. That is now being nerfed down to 1 cent per point. So 10,000 points used to be equal to $150. Now it's just equal to $100. That is also a big deal. So you heard me mention a little bit earlier in the video that this is an effective 4.5% cashback card in a way. Now it's a 3x card, so that's a big deal as well. To have that go away there. So final couple points here. When redeeming for statement credit, gift card, merchandise, real-time rewards, and non-travel, U.S. Bank will give you a redemption value that may vary over time and will be disclosed upon redemption. An optimist could read that and say that they might run deals here and there where you pay yourself back at maybe a 1.25 or 1.5% valuation on gift cards or different things or grocery purchases like the Chase Sapphire Reserve has done in the past, or through Apple or things like that. I'm very skeptical that there's going to be any really good deals like that. They'll probably just, try to give you one cent per point valuation on gift cards, or, give you a 5% discount like they were saying earlier on gift cards, or things that really don't matter. I would not read this with an optimistic lens. So that is not a great thing in my opinion. And then final bullet here is you may redeem your points at the current redemption value through 12/14/2025. And then after that, the new changes will go into effect. So overall thoughts on this card here. So my first gut reaction is that, I'm thankful that, like I said, that they're giving us time until December 15th. So I'm fortunate that my annual fee will hit actually in the next couple days. So my current statement due date, I believe, is actually today, August 3rd. I'll pay that. And then in a few days after that, I'm sure the annual fee will post on the card. I will quickly use the, dining and travel and kind of continue to use the current benefits of this card and eat up that credit. I don't have to make that decision on whether I want to keep or cancel this card until next year. Some people I know are saying that they're going to, quickly liquidate the card before the changes go into effect, depending on their annual fee post date, and then they're going to cancel the card, get refunded the annual fee, and just before the changes, like the full scope of the changes and transfer partners get announced. That's not what I'm going to do. I have more of an optimistic view on this card, and I'm excited to see what the transfer partners are and what they end up being. I think there is a chance that there are some good transfer partners, like for example, Korean Air. I know is their credit cards are issued by U.S. Bank and they're a SkyTeam member. There is a chance that transfers come open to Korean Air and you could get some sweet spots on SkyTeam bookings. I'd like to see if there's going to be any hotel programs added, like for example, hoping kind of a best case scenario in my opinion would be like a choice at 1 to 2, like Citi and Wells Fargo have, or an I Prefer partnership, or leading hotels of the world. Is there going to be an Air Canada, a Air France KLM Flying Blue? Is there going to be any other type of partners that will become useful? I'm more optimistic that the answer to that might be yes. So like I said earlier, they're not going to be blowing. I doubt we're going to be blown out of the water like with a Hyatt or an Alaska or an American Airlines. I think that those are highly unlikely, almost to a 0% chance of any of those slam it out of the park situations happening. But I do think that there is a chance that there could be some good transfer partners. So I think that an interesting way, or kind of an out of the box way to view these changes is let's say that there was going to be a new credit card announced by Bank X. Like, let's say that Chase announced that we've got this 3X on mobile wallet purchases card up to $5,000 in spend. You've got a $325 credit through the travel portal, and it's a $400 annual fee, and it's going to have transfer partners. What would the reaction to that be? I am willing to bet the reaction to that would be extremely positive. Here's, people would go, wow, I can use Apple Pay on literally everything. Like, I can use it on a doctor bill. I can use it to get my car fixed at the mechanic shop. I can use it to buy, supplies for my pet, or I can use it at Target where I don't get bonus spend. I can use it at Costco because it's a Visa, and I can get 3X at Costco. I have a feeling that the reaction to that type of release would be a very, very positive. I would personally be excited for it to be able to get 3X everywhere, and then just have to get that travel portal credit to make it make sense. So I think the conversation and kind of people dogging on this card and saying, oh, this is terrible, I'm going to cancel now, this is worthless, this totally destroys the card's value, in my opinion. I think that is I don't agree with those opinions and those takes. I think that 3X on everything, if and if the major if is if you can find value with that $325 annual credit, that could be a very lucrative thing. I don't have the math right in front of me on if let's say the effective annual fee for this, it used to be 75, and you could really discount that and make that like a true net annual fee because of the nature of the previous credit. But the current, the updated, benefit, it's hard to take that 325 at face value. So if I was playing devil's advocate, I'd say, I could get, $225 in, value because of the negatives of working through a travel portal, whether it's the lack of flexibility or the fact that you have to book through a travel portal and you don't get to, if something goes wrong, talk directly through to the hotel or airline providers, or, of all the negatives of booking through the portal, you really discount it to that, take $100 off. What is I don't have the math in front of me of how much you would have to spend in order to cover that $175 difference at 3X over a 2X card. But I would venture to say that based on, the level of those transfer partners, and then, if the travel center through US Bank ends up being a decent deal, and you can kind of use it on rental cars or attractions, that the math could work out in your favor, depending on how much you spend on mobile wallet. So those are my thoughts. I think that it has the potential, again, very, very big deal to see what these transfer partners are going to be. I'm very interested to see what the travel center is like now. Like here it says now with booking.com, to see if there's actual good deals that you can get out there and use this as a car rental car. I'm just very interested to see, this has a chance to be positive. So I just wanted to kind of make a video talking it up. Is this going to be a good thing? Like last thing I'll say here is that the Venture X has a very similar deal where, you get this big credit through the portal and nobody has any problem with it. I don't understand kind of the hate that this card is getting. Yes, if you compare it to the previous version of this card where it was, excellent. It was like an S tier card, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, could recommend it to anybody. It was absolutely insane. Now, just because it loses some key benefits, we really are keeping a lot, and we're adding transfer partners. We're keeping the 3X, adding a transfer partner slate. So I'm really just interested to see how this rolls out. I think everybody should kind of pump the brakes. This isn't doom and gloom. Let's see how it rolls out. Take your time. Don't, go canceling it immediately and thinking that, the world's going to end and this is absolute trash card. I don't think that's the case. I think we need to kind of take a deep breath. Thank God that they didn't take away the 3X on everywhere, see what the transfer partners are going to be, and take it from there. So well, I'm interested to see what your thoughts are. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with me, if you think this is a trash take, if you think that this makes sense to you, this line of thinking. I'm really interested to see down in the comments. If you like this video, you get value from it, please like the video. Please consider subscribing to the channel. That support and those likes and subscribes really mean a lot. It's very helpful. in order to push more people to this video and keep the channel growing. I would really, really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, I've got referral links to many different credit cards down in the description and the pinned comment below. Signing up for a card, just make sure it's the best offer for you. It's the best available offer. But if you do choose to use one of those links and you're gracious enough to do so, I would really appreciate that support as well. It's a huge, huge way to support the channel as well. With all that being said, thanks for watching. Really appreciate you making it to the end. Till next time.